This evening, first up, Suriname says it is building the Corentyne River Bridge alone, and President Ali says that came as a complete surprise. A project both countries have been developing jointly for years has suddenly taken a dramatic new direction, and Guyana is not ready to accept it. Also, a landmark moment for public health care. Guyana's first MRI machine is now installed at the Georgetown Public Hospital. For the first time, a diagnosis that once meant going abroad or paying privately is now available to every Guyanese through the public system. Then, two suspects, one stolen phone and a swift arrest. An armed robbery at Covent Garden on Monday evening ended quickly after the victim reported it immediately, and police moved fast. Both men are in custody and the phone is recovered. Meanwhile, the Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission is going fully digital within 4 years. President Ali says in a country growing this fast, a modern land administration system is no longer optional. It is essential. And anti-immigrant marches across South Africa turned violent as unofficial deadline for undocumented migrants to leave passes, with looting, stones thrown at apartment buildings, and foreign workers too afraid to step outside. Those stories and more are coming up. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for July 1st, 2026. I'm Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, a brazen armed robbery on the east bank of the Marara ended with both suspects in custody after a 20-year-old auto body technician was held at gunpoint and relieved of his cell phone on Monday evening. The incident occurred around 8 p.m. on June 29th at the Covent Garden New Scheme East Bank Demerara. According to preliminary investigations, the victim was walking along the road with his phone in his hand when two men on a motorcycle approached from behind. One suspect dismounted, pointed a handgun at the victim, and took the phone before both men fled the scene on a motorcycle. The matter was promptly reported to the police, and in a swift follow-up, both suspects, aged 25 and 18, were tracked down and arrested. The stolen cellular phone was also recovered. Both men are currently in custody at the Providence police station as the investigation continues. In a country where armed robberies too often go unreported and unsolved, Monday night's swift arrests at Covent Garden are a reminder of what is possible when citizens report crimes promptly and law enforcement responds with urgency. Now let's turn our attention to Suriname. A diplomatic curveball has been thrown at one of the region's most anticipated infrastructure projects after Suriname's government announced it would fully finance and build the planned Corentyne River Bridge on its own. Suriname's Minister of Public Works and Spatial Planning, Stephen Tsang, made the stunning declaration during a parliamentary budget debate on Monday night, telling the National Assembly that his government had decided to go it alone on the landmark project, insisting the bridge would be entirely Suriname's in its financing and ownership, an announcement that seemed to have blindsided the Guyanese government. Nevertheless, in an exclusive interview, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali told Demerara Waves the news came as a complete surprise, making clear that he had been operating under direct assurances from Suriname's President Jennifer Geerling-Simmons that the project remained a joint undertaking and that Suriname was finalizing its side of the existing bilateral framework. The president noted that Guyana's position remains that the bridge must be developed jointly, as agreed from the very beginning, and that has not changed. Minister of Public Works Bishop One Edgehill deferred entirely to the president's position, offering no further comment on the matter. The proposed 3.1 kilometers crossing over the Corentyne River, estimated at between $236 million and $300 million, was designed to replace the aging ferry link between South Rain and Mawson Creek and is widely regarded as a critical economic corridor connecting Suriname, Guyana, French Guyana, and Brazil. As recently as last year, both presidents issued a joint statement praising the bridge's transformative potential for trade, tourism, connectivity, and people-to-people exchanges, making Suriname's apparent change of course all the more unexpected. Minister Tseng declined to clarify whether Guyana had been formally notified in advance. Moving on. For years, a life-changing diagnosis depended on whether a Guyanese patient could afford to go abroad or pay for private care. That barrier has now been broken. Guyana has reached a landmark moment in its healthcare transformation with the installation of the country's first magnetic resonance imaging MRI machine within the public health system at the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation, giving thousands of patients access to advanced diagnostic imaging that was previously out of reach for most. MRI technology is widely regarded as one of the most powerful tools in modern medicine, capable of producing detailed images of organs, soft tissues, the brain, spine, joints, and blood vessels without radiation. It plays a critical role in the early detection of stroke, tumors, neurological disorders, spinal injuries, and other complex conditions, enabling physicians to make faster, more accurate treatment decisions that can save lives. Until now, patients requiring MRI scans were either referred overseas or directed to private facilities, a significant financial burden that many ordinary Guyanese simply could not bear. The installation at GPHC removes that barrier entirely, bringing world-class diagnostic services to the public system for the first time. Once operational, the machine is expected to reduce waiting times for diagnostic testing, cut costly overseas referrals, improve emergency and specialist care, and support earlier intervention, all factors that directly improve patient outcome. Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony and GPHC CEO Robbie Rambaran were on hand to inspect the installation, marking a moment the government described as a major step in its broader mission to modernize Guyanese healthcare infrastructure through new regional hospitals, advanced medical technology, and continued investment in health professionals. Stick around when we return. Guyana trains community gatekeepers to spot the warning signs of suicide, and Guyana Lands and Surveys Commission to go fully digital within 4 years.
From every region, Guyana is coming together. One Guyana worship experience. Featuring award-winning gospel artist, Sinach. Grammy award-winning worship leader, Naomi Rain. Also featuring Positive.
Rolling in my two-man army. My Jesus and I.
Samuel Midas. Timothy Roberts.
The name of Jesus is higher than every name.
Renwick Dewsbury.
I move according to purpose.
Faith Korika Ned. Solid Youth, and many more. But passes must be secured through your local church and designated distribution locations across the country. July 6th, Guyana National Stadium. One nation, one voice, one Guyana worship experience. Sponsored by the Government of Guyana.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for doing surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
GCOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing July 1, 2026 to produce an official list of electors, OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all registration divisions across Guyana for you to check whether you are listed and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you will be 18 years or older by June 30, 2026 and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. If you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE, you are required to apply for registration if your name is not in the PLE, apply for a transfer if you have changed your address since you were registered, apply for a name change if you have changed your name, or apply for a correction if your registration particulars are incorrect. Any person whose information on the PLE is incorrect can apply for such information to be changed or corrected. Any person applying for a change or correction to his or her particulars must provide the relevant original source document, birth certificate and deed poll for a name change by deed poll, birth certificate and marriage certificate for a name change by marriage, divorce absolute in the case of a woman who is desirous of reverting to her maiden name from her married name, birth certificate, adoption certificate, naturalization certificate for correction of minor clerical errors. Visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your area of residence to conduct any of the above transactions. The claims aspect of this exercise will end on Tuesday, July 14, 2026. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-0278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.ui.
Ghana's land administration system is heading for a complete digital overhaul. President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan announced on Tuesday that the Ghana Lands and Surveys Commission will be fully digitalized within the next 4 years as part of a broader drive to modernize the agency and improve service delivery across the country. Speaking at the Commission's 25th anniversary and awards ceremony at Durban Backlands, President Ali said the transformation will see advanced technology integrated into every department with a focus on faster processing, greater transparency, and stronger coordination across sectors, including housing, mining, forestry, infrastructure, and regional planning. The President was direct about the stakes involved, noting that land administration underpins every major development initiative in the country, from identifying and surveying land to supporting national planning. When it works well, he said, development moves forward. When it is weak, progress stalls. Plans include strengthening geographic information systems, improving institutional coordination, and enhancing land tenure security for citizens, farmers, businesses, and communities. The ultimate goal is a modern, citizen-centered system where records are digitized and information is readily accessible. President Ali made the announcement as the Commission marked 25 years since its establishment in 2001. The agency is responsible for managing state lands, conducting surveying and mapping, and supporting national planning. With Ghana's economy expanding rapidly, the President said a modern, efficient land administration system is no longer optional, it is essential. In other news, a quiet but potentially life-saving program is expanding across Guyana, training ordinary people in communities, schools, and workplaces to recognize when someone is struggling and how to help before it is too late. The Ministry of Health's Mental Health Unit has been rolling out its Gatekeepers program nationwide, equipping individuals with skills to identify warning signs of suicidal thoughts and provide early support to those in crisis. Between 150 and 175 persons have already been trained, with sessions ongoing across ministries, government agencies, schools, community organizations, and private groups, with plans to expand coverage to all 10 administrative regions. Head up the Mental Health Unit's Psychology Department of Training and Education, Dr. Mark Constantine, described the program as a critical pillar of Ghana's national suicide prevention strategy, built on the principle that early intervention at the community level saves lives. He emphasized the ripple effect the training creates. Each person trained returns to the community carrying knowledge and awareness to support others, thereby multiplying the program's reach far beyond the training room. To ensure round-the-clock support is always available, the Mental Health Unit operates the 915 Suicide Prevention Helpline, accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, from anywhere in the country, even without mobile credit. Dr. Corentyne noted that stress, anxiety, depression, and substance use remain the most common mental health challenges affecting Guyanese and urged the public not to wait until things get worse before seeking help. The Mental Health Unit says it will continue to expand training and outreach initiatives in partnership with key stakeholders to ensure that mental health support remains accessible to every Guyanese in every region of the country. If you or someone you know is struggling, you can call the 915 Suicide Prevention Helpline today, free, confidential, and accessible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't go away after the break. U.S. birthright citizenship. Supreme Court rules against Trump's ban, and DRC Ebola response battles conflict, mistrust, and testing delays.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for do a surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
From every region, Guyana is coming together. One Guyana worship experience. Featuring award-winning gospel artist, Sinach. Grammy award-winning worship leader, Naomi Rain. Also featuring Positive.
Rolling in my two-man army. My Jesus and I.
Samuel Mias.
Time I checked. My ways are better and my thoughts are higher.
Timothy Roberts.
The name of Jesus is higher than every name.
Renwick Dewsbury.
No more detours. I move according to purpose. No more detours. Not this time.
Faith Korika Ned. Solid Youth, and many more. But passes must be secured through your local church and designated distribution locations across the country. July 6, Guyana National Stadium. One nation, one voice, one Guyana worship experience. Sponsored by the Government of Guyana.
GCOM will be conducting a claims and objections exercise commencing July 1, 2026 to produce an official list of electors, OLE. If you will be 18 years or older by June 30, 2026, and you are a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, or naturalization, or a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more, you are eligible for inclusion in the OLE. GCOM has posted the preliminary list of electors, PLE, in all the registration divisions across Guyana for you to check whether you are listed, and if so, whether your particulars are accurate. If you have changed your address since you were registered, you need to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for your new area of residence to apply for a transfer. Tuesday, July 14, 2026 is the last day you can apply for a transfer during this exercise. For more information, contact the GCOM on 2250-278-9 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I'm Dominic Hittins tonight. CARICOM moves to address discrimination against Rastafarians across the region. Congo battles Ebola amid ethnic tensions hampering containment. The U.S. Supreme Court strikes down Trump's birthright citizenship order, and anti-immigration marches turn violent across South Africa. We will begin in the Caribbean. The Caribbean community is preparing to convene a regional meeting to address persistent discrimination and marginalization faced by Rastafarians across the region. The decision was taken at CARICOM's intersessional meeting in May. Leaders acknowledged ongoing exclusion in education and employment and established a 5-country committee to advance discussions regionally and internationally. National initiatives already implemented include public apologies, land grants, and anti-discriminational workplace legislation. The Democratic Republic of Congo is battling an Ebola outbreak center in Ituri and North Kivu province, where scientists are working around the clock to test blood samples. Ethnic tensions between farming and herding communities are fueling mistrust, delaying testing, and hampering containment efforts. Al Jazeera Catherine Soy reports.
Congolese scientists are working around the clock, testing blood samples from across Ituri and North Kivu provinces. They are overwhelmed by the growing number of Ebola cases. Placide Mbala heads this lab unit. He says testing kits will soon be deployed to hotspots to help decongest the main lab here in Bunia. But the challenge isn't just the testing, it's also the local communities themselves. Years of conflict between farming and herding tribes have fueled mistrust.
This comes to the ethnic situation where this tribe does not trust the other tribe, so they don't want to send their samples. There is this kind of strategy that we are putting in place, but we need to take into account the culture.
Doctors say delays in confirming lab results make their work even harder, especially when it comes to burials.
As we are speaking now, we are between 24 and 48 hours, which is still too much. We are looking at 6 hours. That's why, to move forward, we are looking at those major treatment centers where we can also put the machine so that when they have a sample that is critical, they can run it within 1 hour.
But there is hope. Health workers tell us the situation is improving. More people are seeking treatment, death rates have declined, and more patients are recovering.
Samples come from different treatment centers in Bunia, Rwampara, Mungwalo, and other areas, and even as far as North Kivu, as the disease continues to spread. So it's crucial that tests have to be conducted as quickly as possible if Ebola is to be contained.
Those handling logistics say medical supplies and food are being transported to the hardest hit provinces. Supplies remain steady, but much more will be needed if the outbreak continues to spread. Catherine Soy, Al Jazeera, Bunia, DRC.
The U.S. Supreme Court has struck down President Donald Trump's executive order restricting birthright citizenship, reforming the 14th Amendment's guarantee to those born on U.S. soil. Al Jazeera's Patty Culhane reports.
An impromptu rally at the U.S. Supreme Court as immigrant rights groups celebrate the court ruling that says every child born in the U.S. will continue to be American citizens. On his first day back in office, U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order saying children born to undocumented immigrants or people in the U.S. on a temporary basis, like a tourist visa, would no longer be automatically American.
This is a big one.
It was such a priority, the president broke precedents and became the first sitting president to attend oral arguments when the justices heard the case. Shortly after Tuesday's Supreme Court ruling, President Trump took to social media, calling the decision bad for our country, arguing he can change it in Congress through legislation, adding no long and unwieldy constitutional amendment is necessary. Some conservative politicians are saying that Congress can intervene because of the decision from Justice Brett Kavanaugh. He said it didn't violate the 14th Amendment, but it did violate a federal law that Congress could change. Still, if it came back to the court, it would likely be a 5-4 decision to still keep birthright citizenship in place. Still, Republican lawmakers say they will move ahead, even if it means looking into a constitutional amendment.
It's a big challenge to amend the Constitution. It's only happened 27 times in our whole nation's history. And the reason is because you got to have 2/3 of both chambers of Congress and 3/4 of the states to ratify.
Democrats are promising to fight any attempts.
But we know that this is not the end of President Trump's attack on the Constitution. We cannot let up this fight to protect our fundamental rights. The American dream is not a guarantee to us. We have to fight for it each and every day.
For more than 150 years, birthright citizenship has been a pillar of the U.S. Constitution. Now, the highest court in the land says it should remain one. However, the U.S. president is promising to keep trying to remove that fundamental right. Patty Culhane, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Anti-immigration marches across South Africa marked an unofficial deadline for undocumented migrants to leave. Some demonstrations turned violent, with looting and stones thrown at flats, while shops closed and foreign workers stayed home. Al Jazeera Haru Mutasa reports.
These protesters say they all want undocumented foreigners to leave the country. Most are poor or unemployed and say immigrants without valid permits are taking jobs from South Africans. They also blame them for high crime rates and they want the government to tighten border security. Several shops and businesses were closed during protests and many foreign workers stayed home. There was violence in some areas where foreign nationals from other African countries live. Some of the protesters came down the street, picked up rocks and threw them at that apartment building, breaking several windows. The residents in this complex said that they were scared and they said the protesters told them that this is not over and they're coming back. The leader of the anti-migrant movement, March and March, says it cannot be held responsible for spontaneous acts of anger by South Africans and that the group will hold weekly marches until their demands are met.
For the next 6 months,
we are asking for our national resources to be used to take the illegal immigrants out of this country. From building to building, they must go.
Thousands of African foreign nationals had already left South Africa before Tuesday's protests, but many couldn't get out in time and are sheltering in transit camps.
The way they took me away from where I was staying, it was not good because I was almost beaten by my landlord. He hit me, he called his friends, he hit me.
Anti-migrant attacks have occurred sporadically in South Africa since 2008. There is often no distinction made between foreigners who enter the country legally and those who are undocumented. Local government elections are due to be held by November. Some politicians have been accused of stoking anti-foreigner sentiment to win votes. Harmutas, Al Jazeera, Johannesburg.
Thanks, Dominique. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's Safety V2 headline news for this Wednesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 a.m. for a rebroadcast and at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.